Hello and welcome to the Kids Are Kids Parent Education video training series. I'm Amy McCready, founder of Positive Parenting Solutions, and I'm proud to partner with Kids Are Kids to bring you practical solutions to your parenting and discipline challenges. Today, we're talking about mealtime battles. This is one of the most popular questions that I get from parents. They'll say, how do I get my kids to eat what the rest of the family is eating? Or how can we get through a meal without it ending up in a tantrum or a meltdown? We're going to be answering those questions today, and I'm going to be sharing 5 strategies to avoid mealtime battles with your kids. Let's begin by talking about why mealtime battles happen in the first place. We have to remember that kids have a hardwired need for power. Power to them means having a sense of control over their own life, a sense of autonomy or free will. But when you're a kid, it doesn't feel like you have a lot of power or control because they always have somebody like us calling all the shots. We decide what they'll wear, what they'll eat, when they'll go here and there. So from their perspective, they don't feel like they have a lot of control over their life. However, eating is one area where they really do have control because we can't make them eat. As much as we may try, we can't make them eat, and they know it. So it becomes a perfect battleground opportunity, a perfect power struggle. So when they dawdle through the meal or refuse to eat altogether, it's their way of digging in their heels and saying, you know what? You may think you're the boss of me, but you're not. And so night after night, we face these power struggles. But fortunately, there are things that we can do to inspire our kids to eat what the rest of the family is eating and get through the meal in a much more pleasant way for everyone. Let's talk about the 5 strategies to avoid mealtime battles. Strategy number 1 is to involve your kids in meal planning and preparation. Because the more invested your kids are in the meal, the more likely they are to eat it. So involve them in the planning process. It would be great on Sundays if you could get together and talk about what you're going to eat for the rest of the week. And then get them involved in the preparation, because kids as young as 2 years old, believe it or not, can be involved in helping you prepare the meal. They can tear lettuce, or give them a plastic knife and a cucumber and let them go to town chopping that up. Or they can pull grapes off the stem. These are really important jobs when you're a toddler, and the more invested they are in the process, the more likely they are to eat it. As kids get older, they can be involved in meal preparation in a much more meaningful way. Strategy number 2, we are going to make eating the child's problem, not yours. Because when kids refuse to eat, we typically coax and prod and say, oh, just try one more bite. But by doing that, it makes the child even more determined to refuse to eat because they're getting a big hit of power from that because they know it's really important to us. So instead, we're going to make eating the child's problem, not ours. So you can start by letting your kids know that they are really growing up. And from now on, they can decide whether they eat or not eat. You're not going to nag them or coax them or prod them anymore. It's going to be up to them. However, let them know that the kitchen closes at 6:30. And after 6:30, we're not going to be serving any snacks or anything else before bedtime. So that creates a logical consequence. If they eat with the family and they actually eat the food, great. If not, well then they're going to feel a little bit hungry by the time 7:30 or bedtime comes along. Now, strategy number 3 is you want to stop any discussion about what your child eats or how much she eats. So to make this work, you're going to have to seem very disinterested in the whole thing. Your job as a parent is to plan and serve a healthy meal. After that, it's up to your kids whether they eat it or not. Now, of course, you want to make sure that you serve something that you know they like, but after that, it's up to them. You also want to resist the urge to praise good eating. So when we make comments like, you were such a good eater, or wow, you really cleaned your plate, that turns eating into a performance issue, and then it becomes ripe for a power struggle. And strategy number 4 is avoid the I told you so's as you follow through. So if your kids dawdle through dinner and you clean up everything at 6:30 because the kitchen is closed, well, by 7:30, they may be starving to death and begging you for a bag of goldfish or a snack. Well, you want to resist the I told you so's because it's going to be tempting to say, well, if you would have eaten your dinner, you wouldn't be hungry now. But you don't want to do that because that's only going to invite a power struggle. Instead, let your child learn from that consequence of not eating. They're not going to starve between now and breakfast the next day. You might want to encourage them to have a drink of water because that can help your tummy if it's feeling a little grumbly, but don't rescue them by giving them crackers or a snack to hold them over. Otherwise, you've just undone all of the good work that you've been trying to accomplish. Strategy number 5 is to control what you can, the pantry. You know you can't make your child eat, but you can control what's available. So keep sugary snacks and junk food out of sight so they're not tempted to fill up on that instead of the healthy foods. If you don't want your kids to fill up on rolls and butter at the dinner table, well then don't serve rolls and butter. You can't control what your kids eat, but you can control what's available, and it'll make a big difference in making mealtime go much more smoothly and avoiding all of those power struggles. Now, we know that we can't force your kids to lovingly wolf down that tuna casserole that you prepared, but you can do a lot to inspire them to eat healthy foods and to eat what the family is eating. So if you follow the 5 strategies that we've talked about here today, it's going to require a little preparation on your part and a lot of backing off, but pretty soon the battles over veggies and all the other good stuff will all but disappear. Now, for more information on how to avoid mealtime battles, check out the interactive that goes along with this video. And for ongoing solutions to your parenting and discipline issues, visit us often at kidsorkids.com for the Parent Education Video Training Series. I'm Amy McCready for Kids Are Kids, and I'll see you next time.